you want to start with Billie Jean?
Any particular reason?
I think it's more exciting.
Okay. Because it seems like it's just... Well, we'll get into it.
Whatever, shitter. Oh, it's turned on, shitter.
Yeah. You shitter.
Did you research? You ready to give us Keith's biography?
Oh, I didn't do that.
No, I didn't ask. I wonder if there's still these Billie Jean trivia pieces or whatever. I can't remember.
Oh, I didn't actually look into anything about anything.
Oh, that's cool.
Even though I'm like, hey, we should look into these things.
I'm Jason.
I'm Jules.
And
we doing filmographies.
You ever heard Whitney as a name for cocaine?
No, is that in here?
No.
Oh.
No. I was just reading a confession on Reddit. This teenager found a bag of Whitney in his dad's room when he was 15 or 16, and he was really upset about seeing it. And then a couple days later, some kids that were older than him were talking about how much they love cocaine. So they came over to his house and did his dad's cocaine. And his dad never ever mentioned it to him.
Yeah, how could you, right?
Yeah, right.
Fucking kids caught me in a loophole.
That was his confession. There's some hot stories there.
Yeah, big time.
All right, so as you can tell, the Legend of Billie Jean must be really worth talking about.
Yeah, it's not good, but I do enjoy a lot of it for various reasons.
Interesting.
Most of which is probably just nostalgia for the time period. If I had seen this as a kid, I probably would have been like, fair is fair.
Dude, I did see this as a kid.
Did you?
I thought it was super awesome. I think I only saw it like once. I think it used to play on like Showtime.
I kind of, for some reason, I kept thinking it was called The Ballad of Billie Jean. And then I'm like, wait, is this about the tennis player? And none of those are true. Although apparently, according to this IMDb trivia, the original title for the movie was Fair is Fair. And I'm glad they changed it.
Oh, man, yeah. Yeah, that is good they changed it. What I read about this movie is that it had a real hard satirical edge to it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a satire about popularizing criminals, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Fame. People becoming famous. And right before they shot it, they took all that stuff out. And about a half hour into this movie, I was like, I bet this was a much better movie, because now it seems like really nothing's going on. There's nothing to this.
Yeah.
It's real light, flimsy.
Well, that take probably would have helped made why they became famous in the first place more like plausible or realistic.
Real fast.
Yeah, like, okay, so why don't you got the synopsis, I'm sure.
I'm going to pull it up. Here, just do some.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Is that from that Simpsons show you were talking about?
Yeah.
The other week?
Speaking of Simpsons.
Yeardley Smith, the 20-year-old in this movie playing a 14-year-old.
She passes.
For 14?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kinda.
So this is probably right on the heels, either right before or right after
Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive.
Several years before The Simpsons.
The Simpsons, yeah.
I didn't realize she worked so much. She has quite the filmography. I know I saw her in like a few things growing up, but for a minute there I was like, let's IMDb her. She might have an interesting one. It's extensive.
Mm-hmm.
She was in a ton of stuff until The Simpsons. She was in a fair amount of stuff after it.
Herman's Head.
Yeah. A lot of TV shows.
Yeah.
A handful of movies.
Yeah.
A lot of these people seem to work in TV when we're doing the filmographies.
Yeah, that was I think a time when having a crazy voice was pretty much a golden ticket.
Yeah.
You know?
And she's like a pinch goofy looking. I think she's kind of cute.
She is.
She's a pinch goofy looking.
She is kind of cute.
Yeardley Smith. She has a podcast now that I listen to every week and have for years called
Small Town Dicks,
in which police officers come in and recount pretty extensively cases they've been involved with. You know, they change the names and the places. But
right. The dicks are the same.
No, they switch it around. There's two twin brothers that are on there. And I think she's dating one of them now. It sounds like he's moved in with her and they've lived together after a couple of years of doing the show together.
Oh.
But no, they have like some people from like Ireland and Scotland.
Oh, sure.
To various states do it. It's good. Small Town Dicks. Okay, so this is a movie from 1985. It's PG-13.
Although originally it was rated R.
There's so many fucks in it.
But they made a lot of stink. And that's actually something I wanted to touch on, because I watched this on Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
The subtitles, which I forgot to take off, were completely censored.
Really?
In the beginning, somebody's like, fuckface. And the subtitle said pinhead. They completely removed the F word when he said F-mobile.
Yeah.
And they just called it scooter.
I was surprised there was only one F-bomb in there.
Yeah, and the funniest one, Peter Coyote says to the guy in the mall, "You dumb son of a bitch." The subtitle read, "You dummy vicious pig."
That's quite the change.
Quite.
The way to make it sound like nobody would ever talk that way. It's got a 6.6 on IMDb, 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, 4.6 out of 5 on Vudu.
Oh, shit.
Director Matthew Robbins. I have no idea what else he did. Restless teenager Billie Jean Davy, Helen Slater, and her brother Binks, Christian Slater, dream of leaving oppressive Corpus Christi, Texas, for Vermont.
Yeah, new places.
Yeah. When Binks' scooter is trashed by bully Hubie Pyatt, Barry Tubb, Billie Jean goes to ask Hubie's father, Richard Bradford, for $608 for repairs, only to have Mr. Pyatt try to rape her. As she flees, Binks finds Mr. Pyatt's gun and unintentionally shoots him. Billie Jean and her brother go on the run, becoming folk heroes in the process.
Doing like just a quick cursory glance, Matthew Robbins directed a lot of garbage.
Oh God, bingo.
But Mimic.
He wrote Mimic.
And he must have, did he write THX 1138? Because that's on there as well.
I don't know. He did Dragon Slayer, Corvette Summer, Batteries Not Included, Bingo, Mothers, Daughters, and Lovers. Did you say, did he direct THX?
No, write it. I know Lucas directed it, but I mean,
sorry,
it's on his credit here. I don't know what he
did the Sugarland Express.
Oh, damn. Somehow he's tied to Close Encounters.
The THX thing looks like it's a short of some sort. Man, we're all over the place.
We are. Fuck him. How dare he?
He wrote a lot of Indian movies, too.
He did. He looks like he likes scarves. The movie opens like any 80s teen movie, really. Just a hot music number. Was that the Pat Benetar song?
No, I think that kicks in when she shaves her head.
Right, when she's on the run and gets a ride from Jeffrey Donovan, and then again at the end.
I think they play that Pat Benatar song like the second she looks up after she's cut her hair and they see her at the pool.
Yeah, and I think it continues to play.
It plays
when she's on the run after she splits up with the bro and Lloyd Dobler over there. So it's a hot summer, right?
Very hot.
Helen Slater, Billie Jean, and Christian Slater, Binks.
Not related in real life, which I thought they were brother and sister. Common misconception.
Apparently, Christian Slater has to go through great pains to clarify that. So they're on his some sort of a scooter, and they're fixing to go down to get a milkshake.
Yeah, I thought like they had something to do.
She worked there.
Was honking, and she's changing her clothes outside.
Yeah,
they must have something real important to do.
Yeah, so she goes topless for a split second, which we see from behind, while she's getting her clothes from the laundry nook.
And then she gets herself a raggedy-ass dress.
Jumps on the scooter, and they take off, at which point we see a group of boys in a convertible that kind of pull off after them. And one's taking pictures.
Let's go harass the pretty girl.
So they go to the drive-through kind of roller skate type drive-in restaurant thing. Okay. And I'm like, oh, she must work there. They're in a hurry. She's going to this place. No, she just wanted a milkshake.
And they didn't even have the kind Christian Slater wanted.
Vanilla. They had strawberry. He goes, why'd you get strawberry? Because they were like hicks.
Yeah.
Trailer trash.
Dude, their accents are consistent, right?
No, and I don't think it was that time. First off, Christian Slater, I don't know where he's from.
New York.
And he's doing because this is Texas.
Yep.
Corpus Christi.
I
don't even think they're doing like Texas accents. They're just doing like Southern accents, right? So the boys pull up while she's getting the milkshake. They're giving Binks a hard time. He's got a coon tail on his
he sure does.
Antenna.
Yep.
And they drop the F-bomb on him. And she's like, hey, cool your jets. Hubie was the boy's name.
Hubie's the dickhead.
And Christian Slater throws the milkshake in his face. They get on their scooter and they peel out of there.
And let me tell you, when he throws that milkshake in his face, it shuts Hubie down.
It stun locks the fuck out of him.
He's got sunglasses on, but he's rubbing his face. He's he doesn't attack Christian Slater like you think he would.
No, he's completely immobilized.
Oh my God, what have you done to me? Will I ever recover from this?
And considering how affected by it he was, it's kind of surprised his friends weren't concerned.
No.
Maybe it was brain freeze.
Yeah, could be.
So then they go down to do some swimming in the watering hole.
Yep.
They got to watch out for gators.
Yep, and she plays a little prank on, pretends that she gets eaten by a gator.
Yep. So
Come back up.
So she's swimming in her panties and like a cropped tank top.
Yep. She looks just great.
Yeah, a little bottom boob.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
She has really amazing legs when she's on that scooter.
And, Slater's looking high, a little scrawny, but he must have been, 17?
I think he's 15.
Okay. I buy that.
He had to go to school on set.
Oh.
And he was very isolated.
Mm-hmm.
The girls would hang out together.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody hung out with Christian Slater.
So, of course, everybody knows everybody, so they figure they're at the watering hole.
Yeah.
And he leaves his scooter just at the top of the embankment, just like unattended. Apparently the key is in it as well. So the boys roll up, and Hubie starts the engine and is just like doing donuts with it.
Hey, leave it! Hey, come on, Hubie, that's not a toy!
So they swim to the shore, and she runs up to confront them, and they just flee? Is that what happens? They don't they still don't physically assault anybody, I don't think.
Yeah, what does happen?
I think they just, Hubie jumps on it and he just peels out, right? And they're just like, God damn it.
When does he get the scooter from then?
So they go.
Hubie jumps on it.
Yeah. So then they go home and...
she's consoling Christian Slater, who's so upset about it.
Yeah, he hasn't even touched his TV dinner.
No.
You sucker.
And the mom's getting ready because she's going out to meet a feller.
The mom who, do we never see her again in this movie?
Few times.
Do we?
Yeah, when she releases the tape. With the mom.
The couples that's on there? Is that what's...
She's standing there and they're like, Mom, I don't believe everything they're saying. It's lies. That's one of them. Before that, she calls home and Peter Coyote, the mom hands the phone to Peter Coyote.
Hi, baby. Hold on.
And then I believe briefly at the end, for the most part, she's a non-character. She doesn't seem bad, right? She's going out on another date, but it seems like the kids are cool with it.
Yeah,
Billie Jean even.
Full or a workaholic or anything. She's just not really represented in the movie.
She's just a single mom.
Never touched on it again.
No, Billie Jean, she takes off her sunglasses. She goes,
Now let him see your eyes.
You got pretty eyes.
Show them. And she's like, oh, Billie Jean.
You're not good.
You're not good.
You're good girl.
So they are sitting there and Slater's just fucking stewing.
You better not even scratch it.
I don't think he's going to bring that scooter back. He leans away.
Yeah, he's just having a laugh and he'll bring it back.
I'm getting my bike back.
Hey, come back here. Banks! Oh, come back here!
So Christian Slater runs out to get it back.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to the police station, right?
Yeah.
Talk to Peter Coyote.
Right. She goes to get her friend, whose name I forget. But that actress, at the time of the movie, was 30. I'm not sure how old she's supposed to be, but she's living with her dad.
I think they're all probably supposed to be around. Well, I don't know. Yeardley Smith's supposed to be 14.
How old
Billie Jean, how old?
They never say, and it's not...
17? She's not out of high school.
It almost seems like she starts the movie with the intention of her being 16 or 17. But the further along in the movie we go, it's undefined, but she seems older. And some of that's the character coming into her own, but I wonder if some of that was also because Keith Gordon is clearly not a young man. Not as young as he should be if he was dating a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
So yeah, she gets her friend. Yeardley comes along, and they go to the police station. And Yeardley Smith is like,
See that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in jail.
Yeardley Smith, the voice of Bart Simpson.
Oh, wow. Don't have a cow, man.
Yeah, and Marge.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I feel really bad. I listened to that podcast, but I kind of disliked Yeardley a little bit because I was thinking she was a Scientologist. That's not her.
Oh, yeah.
That's Nancy Cartwright. So they go to the police station.
Yep.
Give Peter Coyote the rundown. He's like,
well, I think it's best to maybe wait a day or two before I complicate things.
Man, he also is like, just blowing off some steam. Let me know
bring
it's
it
not
back.
in 2 days.
Hubie won't bring it back.
Yeah, I think he goes...
How do you know?
And then Yeardley Smith chimes in.
Because he's a fucker, that's how I know.
Yeah.
She always talks like that.
And so when Billie Jean thinks that Peter Coyote is giving her the brush off.
Which he is.
He is to some extent. Yeah, he's not worried. He goes,
That Honda's not back on your front lawn in 2 days. Give me a call. We'll drag in the fucker.
And she looks up at him like, yeah, you're cool. You get it.
Yeah, because Yeardley swore, and Billie Jean was like, no swearing. It's a police officer. He's like,
Fellow
good.
kids.
Yep, yes, he is. And then he skateboards away. I'm like, he's like, I'm going to go clean the cube. And I'm like, what?
Grabs onto the back of a truck and skateboards right into town.
Manure is dumped on a bully. It's a whole thing.
I'm bad. That was supposed to be Huey Lewis. I'm really bad at doing songs. Yeah.
Going back in time. So then she gets home. Yearly is pissed, upset because her mom is still awake, which means she's going to get a whooping
Yep.
because she's grounded. So she goes in, and of course we hear a slap. Where you been, bitch? Or something.
You are grounded, goddammit.
And then Billie Jean goes inside, and she finds Christian Slater.
He all fucked up.
He's beat to fuck.
He is real bloody and beat up.
Yeah.
And his scooter has $608 worth of damage done to it.
But we didn't see that, right? We didn't see the state
Same.
the scooter was in.
Same, man.
I don't even remember. Did she see the scooter when she got home?
Before she saw him. I think that's when
Okay.
she knew he was back.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's that raccoon tail.
Maybe.
That's the $608.
Because it was lined with gold. She goes down to Hubie's dad's store.
Like a souvenir shop on the pier or something like that.
Yeah, which, I mean, I guess this is like a tourist town or something. Seems really small town, but it's Corpus Christi, so I guess it is fairly large.
Yeah. Is it the big flood? Like the 1908 flood?
Probably.
Or is that no, I'm thinking of Galveston.
Dallas.
Look, you're the fool now.
Probably.
Yeah. you agreed and I was wrong.
I lined him up and he trapped me. So she approaches Hubie, who I feel like I know.
Yeah, come over here. You can Hubie Dubois.
But I don't. He reminds me of a contemporary actor.
Yeah, he looks like somebody.
He reminds me of Quaid's boy. No, wait. No, the guy... Did you ever see Legion?
Yeah.
You know, the guy who plays Dennis Quaid's son? He was also the drifter in Fast and the Furious 3.
He plays Dennis Quaid's son in Legion?
Yeah,
Dennis Quaid's...
the movie where the demons...
Oh, God. I thought you meant the FX show by Noah Hawley. No, I did not see Legion. Paul Bettany?
Yeah.
No.
You ever seen Fast and the Furious 3? The main guy.
I don't like those movies.
Well, it's your loss.
That first one.
Yeah. So...
Which is Point Break.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's The Matrix.
So, I think another Matrix.
I just wanted to get The Matrix in there. So she, of course, confronts him. Hey, you owe me this money. And then she goes, and this is from Binks. And Hubie, gets his look on his face like he's about to get a kiss or something. So, and then she knees him in the nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And he folds over.
You crazy bitch!
And then his papa comes in.
The poor man Stacey Keach.
Yes, absolutely. Right? He's good. He's a scary slimeball.
Slimeball, and I
hate this motherfucker.
She's a good-looking woman, your mama. You sure do take after her.
So the dad comes in. Hey, what the hell going on? Boy, get off the floor.
Get up, dummy.
You rascal. And she's completely naive. So she's like, hey, your boy owes me this money. And there's two people there, and they're like, we gotta go. This is too much.
Yeah.
And he goes,
Boy, there's never a dull moment around here. You have to come back real soon to see what happens next.
So he's like, Hubie, go wait outside. I'm gonna deal with deals.
Now, we got Hubie outside. Why don't you come with me upstairs into a back room?
Yeah, up this spiral metal staircase. And immediately it's clear what's going on.
Yeah.
So he pulls out a little bit of money, and he goes, I'll tell you what.
We're gonna have a little arrangement. The layaway plan. I'm gonna give you $50 today.
No.
And every time you come back, I'm gonna give you a little bit more.
$50 each time.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
I'll pay you to learn or something. And he's just pawing at her at this point. And she's like, no.
I hate this on a few different levels.
Yeah.
The rape angle is bad. This guy's a real scumbag. But he's not even paying her for sex. He's just paying her back the money that his son owes him.
Right.
It's not even a good deal.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It's everything about it's dumb.
Yes. So Binks and the 30-year-old lady are in the car this whole time. And she breaks free and is running away. But he's full on, gonna rape
her. Yeah, he's got her wrapped up.
Mm-hmm.
She's not strong.
Christian Slater still doesn't hear the kerfuffle upstairs.
But he's going to the register and taking the money out because they owe him money.
And he finds a handgun.
Hey, look at what I found.
Gets himself a pistol.
Yep. 38 Snubnose, I believe. A Saturday night special.
And they're having the argument about not taking the money. It's not theirs.
You can't just take it.
Right, and then she comes down, and the dad grabs her, and Christian Slater, of course, is the gun, so he's like, hey, stop. Hubie comes in at this point, and the dad's like, call the cops. They're trying to rob us. She brought me upstairs.
So her pals could empty the register.
Thinking on his feet.
She knew the key to my brain was my small penis.
Mm-hmm.
So Hubie's like, Dad, he's got the gun. Eventually, he says to Christian, it's not even loaded. Give me the fucking guns.
It's empty.
So Christian Slater inadvertently pulls the trigger and shoots him in his shoulder.
Yep.
Jesus.
I'm getting out of here.
You killed him.
He goes down. They flee.
Back to the trailer park.
Yeah, they go right back because their intention is we got to get the hell out of Dodge. You know, Christian Slater, oh, you heard him. He said it wasn't loaded. You know, I didn't know. And so they're.
I mean, it's not his fault. They really should have stayed and sorted this whole stupid thing out.
They should have. Yeah, they should have called the police. I mean, they're idiots, so they didn't really know.
No. Maybe, you know what? Maybe they're not even idiots. They're just very young.
True.
Let's give them a little slack.
True. Yeah, they're scared.
Yeah.
Right? Because at best, Christian Slater probably would have ended up in some sort of a juvenile facility. So they're packing up, and Yeardley Smith is like, hey, I want to come. And they're like, all right, fine. So she's putting like marbles and shit in the bag, which I thought was like really stupid.
And then comes into play later. Look at yeah.
They all get into the car, her daddy's station wagon, and she's driving like a madwoman.
But, okay, so now my question is, do they get out of town?
No.
Do they just drive to an amusement park and sleep there overnight? In the same town?
Yeah, I would assume because they know it. Later on, when she is looking for Christian, she goes there. He goes, I knew you'd find me here.
Do they ever go anywhere? Are they always in Corpus Christi?
Yeah. So they, yeah.
I
mean,
Corpus Christi.
Eventually, I think they're kind of hovering around the suburbs.
Yeah.
You know, they probably don't go but 25 miles at the most. I mean,
that's weird.
We already know that they don't have gas.
Yeah, that is actually an interesting, sad reality that's realistic about this movie, is that they flee. They don't have any money. There's not much you can do with no money.
And I did notice that the gas at the time was like $1.10.
Nice.
Which is better than it is now.
Man, a king-size bag of chips.
What, this is supper?
We only had 78 cents.
While they're packing, I think we're hearing news footage. There's a shooting, and these people are robbers or something. So there's like a small snippet.
Mm-hmm.
But then after they camp, I believe they go to the gas station, and immediately these
little kids are like,
Are you Billie Jean?
she's like,
No, not me.
they show the newspaper.
Isn't that you?
yeah, autographs it,
It was an accident. We never robbed anybody.
and the kids buy them food.
Yeah.
They don't have any.
Right. She goes,
Just put this on my dad's bill, okay?
this year the Smith is loading up on like milk duds.
And they get them gas too? Is that what they say? It's a car out there?
I don't think they actually specify that there's gas involved.
That's us outside.
So then they're just kind of on the run,
Yeah.
right?
You get the mall sequence coming up soon. Isn't that like the next thing?
They call home first, I think.
Hi, baby. Hold on.
And then talk to Peter Coyote.
Right.
This is Lieutenant Ringwald.
And he's like, y'all need to come in. And she's like, fuck
I
that.
want the $608, and I want Mr. Pye to give it to me.
Fair's fair.
Mr. Pewitt, I
Mr. Pye.
That sounds true.
think is his name.
Yeah.
And so Peter Coyote's like, all right, fine, you know. So, yeah, they go to the mall, and she's got a plan.
Yeah.
She puts on a hat
Yep.
and tells everybody else to wait in the car, because that's the plan.
And then steals things, but they don't wait in the car.
Oh, I'm sorry, right, they do take some things.
They steal from the toy store. Christian Slater steals a pretty realistic looking, like, pistol, Magnum pistol or something.
I mean, it realistic in the heat of the moment, probably, but
Well, compared to now with the orange tips.
sure.
In the 80s, they're like, yeah, this is a facsimile of a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they take some shit, they leave some IOUs, and they're supposed to meet the dad in, like, the mezzanine or some common area in the mall.
Near the fountain.
She's coming down the escalator, and Peter Coyote kind of, like, sidles off to the side, and he goes,
You think you made a deal?
and he got the envelope full of money, and he drops it.
You made a mistake.
Puts his foot on top of it.
Yep.
You didn't think I'd come alone.
Hillary!
And all of a sudden, idiot Hubie comes flying out of nowhere.
Tries to grab Billie Jean,
Yep. She runs up the escalator.
climbs across the thing in the middle of the escalator and gets to the other escalator going up.
Well, and she needs him in the crotch again.
You know,
And then, yeah, basically gets up to the top level. The police are giving chase. She drops a bunch of the marbles.
man, the marble thing, I feel like the stakes are pretty high, honestly, for this shooting and fleeing criminals to bring marbles into it.
Mm-hmm.
The hijinks are not really working for me.
No.
Maybe it's just from a 2022 perspective of the police you know?
And also, I mean, it was just something that she grabbed for no apparent reason. It wasn't like Yeardley Smith was like the marble queen of Shitville, you
That
know.
would have maybe been a good angle, right? If she's a marble
Like,
queen.
why does she have a huge fish tank full of marbles? It doesn't, you know. So yeah, they're slipping and sliding all over the place. She pulls a Kevin McAllister on them. And they position the car in a way where it seems like she's just going to jump into the back.
I'm scared. Keep that door open.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen. She gets into the car. And Christian Slater's standing outside, and Peter Coyote comes up like, hey now, and he draws on him. Peter's like, God damn it, boy, put down the gun. You know, because it's throughout the movie, at every moment where they could possibly gain some sympathy or even give themselves up, they just make it worse.
Yeah. Christian Slater's unpleasantly cocky. I don't really care for his character.
It kind of felt like he was going to maybe start going down a darker path.
Yeah, I thought he seems like he should be dead in this.
Yeah. So he jumps into the back and they peel out and apparently get away.
Another sweet-ass escape.
Yeah, big time. And the legend grows. They start seeing news footage. I don't think it's the guy at the gas station that we saw the two kids at. I think it's just a random guy.
Yeah, that's like they robbed me.
Yeah, they tied me up and took my money. And they're like, God damn it, we didn't do that.
And later on when they run to some kids, they're like,
Did you guys rob that liquor store in Galveston?
Yeah, that was us.
We did not.
What about that school in Laredo? Did you burn it down?
no, man, they don't do that.
Yeah. And later they're like, hey, Billie Jean, you got a gun?
Show us your gun!
No, none of that's appropriate.
Where are we going after the mall? Do we, or do we?
No, it's still not a key.
We deal with that little kid situation before that.
Yeah, so I think at this point it's becoming...
Something I very much remember from watching this as a child.
It's so weird.
This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're just hanging out in the car. And these little kids approach and they're like, are you Billie Jean?
Someone's got help, Kenny. He's in a lot of trouble.
So we cut to her walking down the street and
With like 50 kids following her.
more and more kind of congeal into this mob of children.
Pied Piper.
Mm-hmm. And then she goes to this house. And she's scared out of her fucking mind.
You hear hitting and yelling in there, right?
Yep.
Hand on it. It's mine.
Goes in. Kenny's crumpled behind the door.
Like a damn goblin with grab marks on his arms.
Yep.
Fucking
Looking like a real
foul
goblin.
and malnourished.
Yep. And she goes,
Come on, get your things. We're leaving.
the hulking, sweaty, tank top adorned, belt wielding father appears, and he's like,
Who the hell are you?
I'm Billie Jean.
no, you weren't.
Get out of here.
And then he looks out the window and he sees a cadre of children.
Oh my goodness, her followers.
Jesus Christ, you are.
What does he say?
You thirsty?
I got some soda out back.
Yeah,
Like, he loves her now.
yeah. And then that kid gets the soda.
So then Kenny comes out, right, and she's with him, and she's like,
Kenny's going to be spending some time at his grandma's.
oh, at this point she had already cut her hair, right?
Oh, so we're jumping.
So she must have met Keith. Oh, goddamn. Because I don't remember Keith being around for this. But is this when she split up from that?
Yeah, it might be.
When does that happen? So they're driving around, just to double back to Keith, since we're apparently already there. They're driving in a really nice neighborhood.
Looking for abandoned houses to squat in.
I think at first they're just driving there. Because she goes,
Hey, stop the car.
What for?
That one
it looks empty.
So?
So it seems like it dawns on them at that point. So they shimmy up the window when they go in, and the kids are all eating cake and such.
When you're rich, food isn't supposed to taste like what it is.
And Billie Jean's kind of like creeping around the house.
Then we see somebody watching her on a security monitor.
Right, and at first I was like, it looks like a werewolf hand.
Yeah.
What the hell? And then later, moments later, we see a werewolf creeping in the background. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What is going on? Right? And then eventually it like springs out to scare her, and she hits it in the nuts with something.
Was it the nuts? It wasn't even the guts?
They rhyme, so let's just say one or the other.
Okay.
And he goes, I'm Keith Gordon, and he takes off the mask.
Dude, I guarantee that I just loved the mask situation as a kid. All of the horror memorabilia around this guy's house. This is my jam. I think this is the kid I think Can't Buy Me Love. That guy's also a big horror movie aficionado with a bunch of that stuff. I feel like this Keith Gordon trip that we've been doing has been so interesting. Because like I see little peaks at why I must have liked this guy. But as I'm watching these movies, I'm like, whatever magic this guy had for me when I was little, not really feeling it now. I like him. Not really knocking it out of the park too often. I actively dislike him in this movie.
I think it's one of those things where, almost like a Cuba Gooding Jr.
Okay.
There's promise in the earlier shit.
Sure.
But it's like Hollywood doesn't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's one thing in another movie. In this one, they try to make him into the love interest, and it just falls flat.
Not charming. Really.
He's creepy. Like the way he looks at her.
Yeah.
From afar. Like.
Can they hear that too?
It's possible.
Would you like to know what that is?
I would.
The dryer plays the song when your clothes are done.
Oh, that's.
For about 1 minute.
Dumb.
I love it. It's very charming.
I mean, it's a charming song, but it's like...
Jules is jealous of my 2022 dryers.
I am. I've got a 2019 dryer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I thought it was so fancy having a new one.
Well, it's a mini dryer.
Oh, yeah.
A mini washer and a mini dryer. You know. Magic Chef, oddly enough. What the hell? Am I supposed to cook in this thing?
No.
What the hell? Keith Gordon is like some guy, super rich, and his dad doesn't love him or something.
Well, I think he's on his own a lot because his dad's busy making his moves.
Right. So they go swimming, hang out, and Billie Jean, they're watching Joan of Arc.
Yeah, like The Passion of Joan of Arc.
Yep. And Billie Jean's just like enamored.
Yeah.
Right. So she goes up to the bathroom. She cuts her hair. She does a really good job. It's really styled.
Yeah, I mean, because, she didn't do it.
It seems like a self-made haircut.
Yeah.
It's a little off in the back and shit.
She gruffs the top, and you're like, nah, man.
Yeah, big time. I wonder if that hairstyle influenced kids at the time.
I think this might have just been like the perfect window when the short, tight, almost punk rock hair is round.
And she puts on like a sleeveless wetsuit shirt.
Is that what's going on? Yeah, what is that thing? She looks good, dude. And then she does that slow look up from her head being down, and like her eyes are really just popping.
So they're like...
Beautiful eyes in that scene.
She's like, I want to do something. And Keith's like, yeah, that's brilliant. Let's make a movie. And so they record her giving her speech.
Her Ferris speech.
I'm Billie Jean Davy, and I want to set the record straight.
At this point, the dad is actually selling Billie Jean merch.
Yeah.
Because when the cops come to talk to him, somebody's like...
That picture in the window for sale?
Well, that picture's $10 as it is. You want to wait for a frame, it's going to be $12.50.
Sold America.
I laughed pretty hard when they had that whole poster conversation. Peter Coyote says...
You won't pay her, but she'll sell her picture.
And he goes, you want one? I'll give you one.
Half price.
And I laughed too.
Yeah, big time, boy. He's got a good evil guy line.
Yeah, he's good.
They're like, well, we're going to leave now because we're going to go deliver these tapes. And Keith is like, hey, why don't you kidnap me?
I'm going to be your hostage.
If you turn yourself in, they're just going to arrest you.
I mean, they still don't have to give you the money.
You got no leverage.
Cops don't have to bargain with you. You don't have anything they want.
But if you take a hostage...
Let's escalate.
Now you won't go to jail. And it seems like they're right on the cusp of just being able to call the whole thing off. Peter Coyote is becoming a bit more wise to the backstory. I think he even approached Hubie.
Let's talk about motor scooters.
Oh, because right after the shooting, he even says to himself,
God damn, I think I blew this one.
Because he didn't get a hold of it. So he's putting it all together.
He's good. Peter Coyote is like acting circles around everybody else in this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
When Dean Stockwell shows up, there's the most.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Coyote, Dean Stockwell, and the sleazy Stacey Keach knockoff. And for about 2.5 minutes, you're like, oh man, this would be a much better movie watching these three guys. This is way more compelling.
Hell, you're in law enforcement, aren't you? Well, do something.
Why don't you go crawl back in the woodwork?
Why don't you just do your job? If you can't do it, maybe somebody else can.
Lieutenant, I want roadblocks, helicopters, and additional men assigned.
Amen.
Peter Coyote is my go-to when you can't get Kevin Costner.
Coyote's great.
I mean, he's older a little bit, but
I looked up pictures of him. He's looking quite old. Because I think he looked the way he looked in this movie for about 20 years.
Yeah.
He does not look like that now.
He's a fantastic, effortless actor, you know.
And an author.
Oh, is that right?
He's written quite a few books.
I know he's done some voiceover work, too.
I bet he's got a good voice.
In something I think I just watched, but...
His nation was not yet 30 years old. But the United States already claimed half of the West.
So, yeah, now they got a hostage. And it's just like, what?
It turns out he's the senator's kid.
The district attorney.
District attorney who wants to be a senator?
Probably.
wants to be the Attorney General?
He's building his career. Oh, the Attorney General. Yeah. And it's an actor that...
It's
something...
Stockwell.
No. That's the...
The dad of...
That is. Is that his name?
Dean Stockwell from Blue Velvet? And
Yeah, for some reason I thought his last name was like Asada or something.
No, he just died.
That's a shame.
Yeah, about 9 months ago, I realized he was still alive. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Dean Stockwell's still alive? That's awesome. And then one day later, they're like, Dean Stockwell dead.
You did it.
I guess so.
At first, I thought it was Leland from Twin Peaks from afar when we just kind of see him walking into the house from the helicopter.
Oh, Ray Wise?
I was like, oh, great.
Oh, great.
Leland is...
Great for the TV show.
Yeah. Because he actually does end up becoming kind of in cahoots with Mr. Pyatt. Because he's like...
Now that's from all over the country. That's parents, educators, businessmen. It's John Q. Public. And all of them's voting age.
He's like, oh, wait a second. Cha-ching.
This movie sucks.
Yes. And at this point, I mean, like, I like the 30-year-old friend. I think she's pretty good.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie. And I like Yeardley Smith.
Yeah.
They cut him loose. They wait till they're passed out and they call Coyote. Comes down hard on them.
Cute, too, because he seems like happy to have found them and they look safe. He finds them when they're sleeping.
Right.
Smiling.
And then he turns to his buddy cop and he's like, should I? And he's like, yeah. And so, yeah, he gets all boisterous. And
probably the right thing to do. They've really been fucking up bad. They go to jail.
They do.
Yep.
And now it's Billy, Binks, and Lloyd. And they go somewhere. I don't remember where. Like a high school or something? Because then, like, they're almost caught and they split up. Binks and Lloyd go one way and Billie Jean goes the other way. While she's running away, a girl in a Trans Am pulls up with Billie Jean here. And she's like, get on in. And so now Billie Jean's gallivanting around from coyote to coyote, basically.
Well, okay, is this basically the Underground Railroad for Billie Jean sequences?
Apparently.
Where she keeps appearing in places with other people with short hair mimicking her. She's like, what, she goes into that underground warehouse and it's just like a sea of kids like her?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah,
this is not the X-Men and discovering an underclass of mutants that have been waiting your arrival.
It's almost like the Foot Clan in the first TMNT.
Regular or mental?
Oh, sure.
Right? Danny and the boys are all stealing Walkmans and shit. Like, I'm expecting fucking Tatsu to walk.
This has to be stuff left over from the more biting version of the script.
I would assume.
This must have been funny and amusing in the context of what whoever wrote this originally went for.
There is no clear tone in a majority of this movie.
Yeah, this movie really does nothing. People know about them and are rooting them on, and it's boring, and they meander.
It seems like they've captured the imagination of, like, the world. And, yeah, so the biker guy who I thought was Jeffrey Donovan gives her a ride, and the police, because the DA at this point is like, we need barricades and roadblocks. And they're blocking roads. And they're so close each time, but nope, it's another short-haired child.
Yep, she's just ditched out on that ride moments before they got to the barricades.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, she eventually goes back to the mini golf place.
And finds Christian Slater under a pile of newspapers. Lloyd, Keith Gordon over there.
Yeah, because it's a big reveal. She's like, I found you, Binks. And he goes, now it's your turn to babysit. And she's like, huh? And out comes Lloyd, and he's got his hands on the top of the door frame like people do. Like
he's a buddy.
And she kisses on him, and he is an enjoyable actor. And I'm glad you put his name in the hat.
Yeah.
But boy.
They put him in this like he's a heartthrob hotshot.
It's like they couldn't get John Cusack.
Yeah.
So they got him. I think at this point, Peter Coyote shows up, and he's like, y'all, where are, and he's right by the house. The only place they probably could be hiding.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. Maybe he knows, and he's just like, give it to straight.
We got to end this, kids, you hear? We got to end this now.
I'll fix your scooter real nice. And Christian Slater's like, oh man, real nice?
How you going to jail later, buddy?
So then I guess they like broker a deal to give themselves up.
Billie Jean will do it just the way you want, I promise you.
It becomes like a huge media circus. They're like, we're going to meet you on the beach or some shit. And it's just flooded with children. and onlookers.
Mm-hmm.
And the DA's like,
Should have cordoned off the beach.
They'd have come in on surfboards.
Yeah, what does he say?
You think this is pretty funny, don't you?
and he goes,
You want to go tell all these kids to go home, that's fine with me. When the riot starts, I hope you can run pretty fast.
good look. And they even got the fixed-up scooter
Yep.
on like a flatbed. And
Yardley's there.
Yardley. That's a good, I like that.
With the Billie Jean hair. Because when she got picked up
No.
from jail, her mom slaps her.
Oh, that's right.
She
We skipped
grabs the
that.
scissors and cuts her hair off.
We skipped that. Even though that's a wig. She refused to cut her hair.
And her mom slaps her for real. And
Slaps the shit out of her.
it's not a pulled slap when they filmed it for real.
She needed that. To grab the scissors with that level of ire. And don't do it, Yardley. So she gets out of the car and she's got like a power suit on or some shit. She does the Billie Jean
The arm flexes.
arm flexing and the crowd goes wild. So at this point, we see off in the distance.
Billie Jean walking Lloyd Dobler in.
Yep.
And Yardley had said, I bet she's already here.
She did.
Yeah, she is there.
She is there.
Yeah.
In a pretty good disguise.
Yeah.
Some sort of a curly wig, overalls or something.
Well, but you're supposed to believe that's her leading Lloyd in with the gun.
And because I don't think we saw Billie Jean yet, I thought it was her.
Yeah.
And no, it was Christian Slater.
In a dress.
And lipstick.
And lipstick.
Oddly enough.
And eye stuff.
Which she doesn't wear. I guess he really committed to that.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah. And so he's got him at gunpoint, and we find out the DA had called in sharpshooters and shit. And so then Hubie runs up and he goes, It ain't her.
It's her brother! It's her brother!
Yeah, did they drop the F-bomb at this point?
No.
Hey, he's dressed like a girl. And so he turns around with the gun like,
It's
what?
like, knock it off, Hubie, knock it off.
Yep, and the sharpshooter hits him in the shoulder.
Blasts him.
He goes down.
People freak the fuck out.
Lloyd's cradling him, and then like a big crowd forms, and then they just move. And we cut to the ambulance driving away.
Yeah, and apparently the police presence is now gone.
Because Billie Jean even pulls back the cover to reveal the scooter, like, Binks, don't get crazy. We got but nobody can hear her. And she starts running after the ambulance, but she can't catch it. So she's at this point now standing outside of the dad's shop.
Tear-streaked face.
Yeah.
She sees him.
Yep. Inside, he's still got his arm in the sling.
That motherfucker.
She sees all the merch.
Mm-hmm.
And so she approaches him and he goes, what do you want? You ain't got no business with me. And the crowd's forming because people realize it's her. And she kind of confronts him.
Who paid?
She doesn't really spill the beans yet. And he kind of dresses her down a bit.
You're the one to blame. You're the one going around thinking you're so damn hot.
But he sees the crowd, and so he's like...
Still want the money? Is that what you came here for? I got the money right over here.
He just grabs a wad of money.
No need to count this.
And he's like, here, just take it.
A little more, a little less.
Just take this.
Looked like quite a bit more, if I were to be honest. And she's like...
Giving me the money? Now?
Look, it's a real shame what happened. It just got out of hand, that's all.
Nah, you're a creep.
But I can't take all this.
And she knees him in the nuts.
Here's your change.
And he falls, and a bale of hay catches a fire.
Yeah, I couldn't remember how the fire started.
I think it was like the string of lights. He pulled them down when he fell, and they smashed because it was hay.
I'm just shaking my head. This movie's such a nothing.
And it's on fire, and then everybody's around, and Peter Coyote's there.
And there's a giant paper mache statue of her
with a gun, and a pretty good recreation of her stupid outfit.
Yeah. And that thing crashes into the fire.
Fire just starts getting out of control.
Gets everything.
And he's going around, and I thought this is really funny. He's like, hey, somebody get some water. Why are you standing around? Somebody get some water. And so she throws the tore up picture of herself into Keith Gordon grabs it, throws it in the fire. And now everybody starts taking off their shirts and their hats, and they start throwing it in the fire. And
can I tell you what I'm thinking while they're doing this?
Please.
I think this fire sounds pretty toxic, and everybody should get away from the burning piles of clothing.
Well,
you're all going to get weird cancer in exactly 12 years. Quit burning T-shirts and breathing it in.
What are you standing here for? What are you looking at? Let's get some help here.
Well, and not only that, But I'm assuming this establishment is on the boardwalk, which has probably been there for time immemorial.
Nice, dried out, ready to go up in 30 seconds.
And nobody's really too concerned about the fact that the entire boardwalk's probably going to burn. Not only his shop, but I mean like the cotton candy shop. But, hey, justice is served.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody goes to jail.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? The movie, this jumps from this scene to the end, right? Billie Jean.
We haven't seen Christian at this point, so we're thinking he's dead, even though we saw he only got shot in the shoulder. And he comes out of the store like...
You said it was cold, but this is ridiculous.
And then he looks at the snowmobile because it's like a scooter. And then it like freezes on him really awkwardly and the movie's over.
And he has a cast on.
He does. He's in a sling now.
Very recent from the shooting. Nobody gets in any trouble?
No.
You shot a guy. You've been stealing things. You've been fleeing the police. You've been breaking into places.
Yep.
Burned down a boardwalk.
Do we even know how they got there? Are they in the...
Vermont?
Are they in the station wagon again? Or?
Yeah, I know. Like, is their mom with them? They've just fled?
Hitchhiking.
None of this makes any sense.
And they have and Vermont's not cheap.
No, right?
I mean... cheaper than it is now in the 80s.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, Martha's Vineyard type shit.
All the money for this.
No.
I have the money for this.
No skills. And that's another thing. So they're the biggest stars in the world. And now they're just going to live the rest of their lives?
In Vermont.
Milking
and
maples?
They have dropped out of high school?
He didn't take the scooter that Peter Coyote worked so hard to fix up?
This is a bad movie with a bad message that I thought was real cool because they got the guns.
Do whatever you want.
Kid Army.
And it'll all work out in the end.
Yeah.
Although I did there was a point where the writing's on the wall pretty much for the dad, but it hasn't hit the fan yet. And we see Hubie in the crowd and he sees what's coming. So he just kind of looks around and slinks away. Because then the dad's like, Hubie, come up, my boy. And Hubie is gone.
The horrible rapist dad's one of the better parts of the movie, which is upsetting.
I mean, it's silly because we all know what happened for the most part.
Yeah.
Peter Coyote knows, and the DA's probably clued in on it, but they don't arrest him, and the DA sides with him. The kids, they did get shot at. We didn't mention that.
Yeah.
At one point, they're driving, and a guy's like, "That's a $10,000 reward."
He just starts firing it.
Right after she saves Kenny. And yeah, the dad just gets out a fucking rifle, and I thought somebody got shot at that. Oh, that's when Yeardley Smith
discovered she's had her first period.
Yeah, and
she's thrilled about it.
And then Christian Slater's like, "Oh, gross," and Billie Jean's like, "It's fantastic." And I thought that's a pretty good line, pretty good line delivery. But yeah, this movie was. Like I said, it's enjoyable and it's campy because it's so insane and unbelievable. It's a fantasy, really. There's some good performances.
But it's clearly been, neutered into nothing.
Yeah.
Pat Benetar, when she would do that song in concert, the way she would introduce the song is, this song is from one of the worst movies on the fucking planet.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then she'd play, what is the name of the song?
Billie Jean. Is it Billie Jean?
No, you're thinking of
the Michael Jackson song. I mean, that's from
We Will Be, is it Invincible?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But that's funny that Pat Benatar would go out of her way to be like, that movie sucks.
Well, and good for her, because it really does.
It's real bad.
Yeah, there's... And when they were cleaning out their rooms on initially trying to flee to Vermont,
mm-hmm.
he has a poster on his wall of Vermont. And I was thinking to myself, oh, how cool would it be if he, ripped it down? Because he didn't want to give away that's where they were going. They don't even leave Texas.
No, they just drive around town.
Yeah.
In that car.
Yeah.
That everybody knows is theirs.
Yeah. Is it a work car? Yeah. It's shit painted on it.
Is that her mom's station? Oh, wait.
It's her dad's.
Yeah.
But it's got, sea animals or something painted on the
A logo.
Yeah, something.
Yes.
I don't know.
This makes me think about Keith. We'll bring it back to Keith here.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what life was like for him being in these movies. I am proud of him for getting out when he did,
mm-hmm.
because I think he's likable.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he starts to maybe get a little bit weirder looking as he gets older.
Yeah.
Because he starts to look like a 30-year-old guy who's losing his hair. The features that seem boyishly cute initially, they keep growing. He's not ugly now, guys. I'm not calling Keith ugly. I'm saying to be a movie star, which is what they're trying to do in this 10-year period of his career. I could see it going pretty bad for him in the 90s. I don't know. He did good Getting Out, and Getting was good. But to have him be this character in this movie, it's like, what is this career doing? What was it like? Were people seeing him on the street and, like, yelling things at him? Did he feel like he was a hot it guy? He was in quite a few kind of big movies.
Yeah, and I mean, he was effectively, loosely, Brian De Palma's protege. To some extent.
For a minute there.
In an interview I saw, he said when they were working on home movies, he's like, everybody there was like a student of his. And he was basically like, can I follow you around? And learned, that's probably where he really got his training on set. And the inner workings of a set, which is probably what helped him gravitate from being
in front to behind.
Not really a child actor.
Kind of.
On the cusp of childhood, becoming an adult. Well, a legal adult. But yeah, I mean, like, he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy, maybe he was into drugs and all that hard shit.
I think he had a pretty low-key life. Because he said when he was making Back to School, like, people were partying. He didn't party. He would have, like, a beer with people. But he wasn't out trying to get laid.
Yeah, he's like not a party guy in any of his movies that I can recall thus far.
It sounds as though he, after he got a taste of it, he was treating the making of these movies as film school.
And maybe he got burned out because Hollywood didn't know what to do with it, or seemingly didn't.
I don't know that he ever got that far, though. It seemed like he tapped out. I mean, I don't know if on top is the right
Well, because Back to School, that was probably pretty late.
That's like the end.
That's movie 10, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
after that, he's got the bit part in that Charlie Booker's Way to Do Life or whatever, which seems like, a friend must have been making it. He does I Love Trouble in like 92 with Nick Nolte and Julia Roberts. He's supposed to be like a glorified extra, and he was only on that to give a script to Nick Nolte.
Oh.
And then he does Delivering Milo.
Like in the movie, or in real life he was given a script to Nick Nolte?
In real life, he gave a script to Nick Nolte on the set of that movie. He only took the acting job so he could meet Nick Nolte and drop off a script for Mother Night.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then that was his first directorial?
Mother Night. No, that's like number 3.
Okay, so...
He'd already been directing by that point.
Yeah, this movie is a real misfire. I mean, he's barely in it, even when he's in it.
Yeah.
He's
just kind of there.
Yeah.
He's not, the charisma's gone.
There's a little charisma when he's trying to make the hostage video. He keeps cracking up, but it's like so forced,
the werewolf sneakeroo was pretty much the peak.
His reveal was genuine, and I like that. And yeah, he seemed like a rich kid, left to his own devices, and
why is he cured of asthma, just hanging out with these people? What kind of a message is that within the movie? I've needed my pills since I've been with you guys.
Is he in Vermont? Because
no,
we just see her.
They seem good together, kind of.
Might as well.
With maybe, do they have chemistry in this movie?
No.
None of them talk about Keith Gordon. Yardley Smith and Helen Slater recorded a commentary for the movie in 2010.
Oh.
That's where, like, some tidbits I learned it from.
Oh.
They don't talk about Keith Gordon at all. Not even a little bit, man. I think at one point somebody asked if he was a good kisser, and she's like, I don't know, probably.
Yeah.
He's a weirdo now.
It kind of seemed like he was interested in her, but she was on her Billie Jean mission. And at one point, she does rebuff him. I don't remember when or how. Then later, when she discovers them again, she goes, oh, I thought I scared you away.
How old do you think he's supposed to be in this? Is he? I don't think he's in college.
Pre-college. No, I'd assume pre-college.
I think he's supposed to be like 20.
I mean, I don't know, because...
She's 22 in real life during this.
Yes, which I was thankful for.
Oh, yeah.
I sent you a message like, hey, she's pretty sexy. And then I was like, oh, wait. And I'm now questioning every decision I've ever made in my life.
He's 24 when the movie comes out, so they're roughly around the same age.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Actually, I looked that up now that you mention it. She was 22, he was 24. The other girl was 30.
Yardley's 20.
Yeah.
Christian's 15.
Yeah.
Look at us go.
Right.
Peter Coyote's around 40.
He's timeless. He really, I'm actually kind of now thinking about it. It would have been quite a delight to see a cowboy movie, where he and Kevin Costner play brothers.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Son, do you want to call Kevin later?
I mean, we probably should.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's listening, so he already knows, but, cause he gets a direct live feed of this unedited. He's listening right now, so he'll probably call us.
Well, he's got he's really rich. Kevin Costner's really rich.
I can imagine.
He invested some of his early money in
He gets some back end on, Dances with Wolves, didn't he?
Well, and he's got a bunch of tech money.
Oh.
Like that ocean cleaning stuff. I heard something recently that he's got an ungodly amount. Not just like, hey, I'm a rich actor, but I played the stock market well and invested in the proper things.
It's insane because he kind of looked like he was falling into that Liam Neeson phase where it was like movies that are still hitting the theater, but the budgets are like not quite there. Yeah. Like the movie where he's like a hitman and he's like poisoned or something. There's another one where he's a serial killer.
I liked that. That was a long time ago. Mr. Brooks with Dane Cook.
Mr. Brooks with Dane Cook.
I like that movie.
These are like lower caliber, whatever.
That movie did well. But that's like, that's early 2000s.
Remember Tamplin, his daughter?
Dragonfly, that came out around the same time as the Costner movie?
No. I don't know.
That after the late 90s, his weird run, I don't think he quite found his footing after that. I don't think he ever really found his footing again, except for it's Yellowstone, right, that he does?
So he did a movie called Open Range with Diego Luna, Kubiak, and the lawyer from The Godfather, whose name is now escaping me.
Gretchen Mol?
Yeah. That old fucking crank. You know what I mean? Robert Duvall. And it's a real epic.
Was it good?
It's got a really good shootout at the end.
You the one killed our friend?
That's right. I shot the boy, too, and I enjoyed it.
But it's like 2 hours of range life.
I mean, that's kind of what Unforgiven is.
And I was just thinking it's exactly like that in Unforgiven.
We just watched Unforgiven like 2 years ago at the beginning.
There's like some vicious violence, but a copious amount of washing underwear and razzing the new kid.
I was not super into Unforgiven after not having seen it for a while. I was like, this is funny. This is going to blow our fucking minds. You're going to see real tour de force here.
Yeah. Put on your sports bra because this is going to blow you away.
This is why people love Eastwood.
Yeah. This is it.
Morgan Freeman, Gene Hackman.
Mm-hmm. It's got a guy who can't see all that well.
Is that Morgan Freeman?
Young kid.
Does he get killed, right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Anyways, okay. No more. I need a cigarette.
Okay.
Legend of Billie Jean. Let's do our rankings.
Okay.
What do you give the movie?
A 4.
I give it 4 also.
Yeah.
I wrote it down right here. It's proof.
Yeah. There's good parts, but it just
do anything.
All a pile of shit.
No. I like the font, the credits in the beginning. Like kind of, I don't know. I like some of the 80s looks.
Yeah.
Piece of shit. Keith. Okay, I give him a 6.
I gotta go with a 6.
5 and I changed it to a 6.
That's funny. I was gonna go with a 6. I changed it to a 5.
It's like I don't like him in this. I don't think he's really doing a bad job.
Mm-mm.
I don't think any of the characters are written well.
No.
Peter Coyote seems to be able to do a lot more with the material of him being 40.
Mm-hmm. Considering how much of the movie doesn't involve him, it's probably easy to see that maybe he was still operating under the original premise.
I wish I could find that original script.
Like they maybe filmed all of his shit.
As a Keith.
Yeah, right.
I can't find any other indicators of that. Mm-hmm. If we are reading your fucking interviews, we're watching them.
Yep.
We're on this, brother.
And I think the problem is a lot of people in the movie really do go for broke and try to deliver a performance.
Yeah.
He seems like he knows what's going on, what this movie is, and he's just like not there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just like, man, some of that's the character, but...
We're talking about Keith?
Yeah, it just sort of seems like it's just, this is lightweight.
Little script switcheroo at the end, and he's like...
I can't even imagine. He must have signed on based on the original premise.
Yeah, he sounded like a little bummed out.
There's no way that he signed on to the movie as it ended up. Because, it's like, what? Have you seen Christine, motherfucker?
I'm talking about Christine, man! No shitter ever came between me and Christine.
Is this his worst movie so far? I mean, Home Movies is bad, but...
He's fine in there.
He's fine, and the movie's doing something. I don't like it. It's more interesting than this. This really felt like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
This is like eating that bag of 78-cent chips for dinner.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, they're famous now. Everybody loves them. They pull a gun on Peter Coyote. They kidnap this kid, and it's just like, it's a harebrained movie.
Man, y'all should watch this fucking movie. Tell us what you think. Don't tell us how you felt when you saw it as a kid.
No.
I know firsthand. That doesn't matter now. We want to know what you think now.
Yeah.
And you can tell us at wedoingfilmographies@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Instagram at wedoingfilmographies.
Yep.
What is our Twitter handle again? Filmographies?
Doing Filmographies.
Or is it Do Filmographies? At Do Filmography. We have a 15 character limit.
Yeah. They really fucked us.
You can check us out on YouTube. There's probably nothing there.
Yeah.
I think that was probably we doing filmography.
Draw pictures of us and share it on Instagram. We want to see us drawn.
All right,
that's what people do these days. I think they draw.
Yeah, please.
People they like.
Please do that for us.
We got a hotline.
Oh, yeah. 763-634-1897.
Okay, guys. Next week on this very podcast, Static, 1985. This might be one of the more interesting movies. I have not seen this.
I don't even know if I knew that it was coming up.
Do you know anything about this? Man, we'll get into it.
As long as I can find it to watch it.
Yeah, good.
I don't want to go too deep into trailers or anything anymore, which I stopped doing. Possibly back with Waking the Dead.
Yeah, you did have some strong feelings.
I saw a little bit for all that jazz while I was trying to find it, but I'm glad I went into Billie Jean cold.
Well, next week you're going to see Mark Romanek's first movie. Mark Romanek made 1 hour photo, Never Let Me Go, and lots of music videos.
As
Lemonade, Beyonce.
Really?
Yeah, him and Keith were friends in the 80s and made this, and he disavowed it. Yeah.
Keith did?
No, Keith loves it.
Oh, the director did?
Yeah.
Oh, Romanek.
And Keith, co-wrote it. They really worked on this motherfucker together.
Wow.
So next week, Static.
Hey, I'm excited.
Yeah. Until then.
I've been Jules.
And I've been Jason.
Good night.
Good night. We did Filmography.
We doing them.
I thought it was awesome. Billie Jean went running up that escalator right there. This guy grabbed a hold of her backpack, and she turned around and kicked him right in the nuts and kept on running. It was hilarious. Billie Jean, wherever you are, I love you.